मुच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः।
नमो भगवते तस्मै कृष्णायाद्भूतकर्मणे रूपनाम विभेदेन जगत्क्रीडति यो यतः बुद्धिप्रेरक कृष्णस्य पादपद्मं प्रसीदतु ध्यानासमर्थ जीवानामस्माकं सर्वदा स्वतः। प्रभुर्नंदकुमारो मे स्वामिनी वृषभानुजा कृतार्थोऽहं 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 न संशयः। पुष्टिमार्ग्य सर्वज्ञः करुणारसपूरितः श्रेष्ठफलप्रदाता च तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। बर्हापीडं नटवरवपुः कर्णयोः कर्णिकारं बिभ्रद्वासः कनककपिशं वैजयन्तीं च मालां रन्ध्रान् वेणुरदरसुधया पूरयन् गोपवृन्दैः वृन्दारण्यं स्वपदरमणं प्राविशद्गीतकीर्तिः। नमो ब्रह्मण्य देवाय गो ब्राह्मण्यताय च जगद्दिताय कृष्णाय गोविंदाय नमो नमः। नमो भगवते तुभ्यं वासुदेवाय वेदसे प्रद्युम्नाय अनिरुद्धाय नमः संकर्षणाय च। वसुदेवसुतं देवं कंसचाणूरमर्दनं देवकी परमानंदं कृष्णं वंदे जगद्गुरुम्। श्री कृष्णाय नमः, श्री गोपीजन वल्लभाय नमः, श्रीमदाचार्य चरणकमलेभ्यो नमः, श्री गुसाई जी परम दयालवे नमः, श्री गुरवे नमः। Welcome to Life Solutions in 2021, a Vedic lifestyle. Prempuri Ashram has organized this wonderful video series for the youngsters, which can help us unveil our scriptures, our lifestyle, and a lot of other factors which are really helpful to change our perception about religion. In today's world, the major fight goes on between religion and spirituality. In our previous sessions, we have already heard about the various aspects of religion and spirituality. Today, it's going to be an add-on itself. We'll be trying and exploring these concepts slightly more in detail. So many human beings, so many perspectives, so many things to do in life. And yet, our desires never stop. Despite knowing the fact that we have limited time, our desires never stop. Despite knowing the fact that we have limited energy, our desires never stop. On one side, people talk about dreaming big. On other side, people talk about staying hungry. On other side, people talk about living a life of calm and composure. And on one side, people talk about having a minimalistic lifestyle. There are so many contradictory pointers left, right, and center, because of which we may never understand what needs to be exactly done. What is the right kind of action? what is the ultimate solution? Remember one thing, it's when you start exploring things by yourself, you start getting matured. When someone guides you and you find things by yourself, that maturity enhances. But if someone does it for you, you are not going to get matured ever in life. The only differential standpoint that we are in right now is our scriptures also say a lot of things that the Westerners are saying about us. But unfortunately, we have lost faith and we have no interest in understanding what kind of things are there with us which can lead us to live a better lifestyle, a better spiritual life, and even a life that allows us to face challenges and achieve our aspirations. Now, I'll tell you this difference. The reason behind this difference is lack of infrastructure. We are lucky enough that certain organizations have made spirituality and recitation and all of these things a mandate. Whatever I'm going to talk right now, a lot of people may feel it's politically not correct or it's too biased towards a certain set of religion. Since we have the freedom of speech, let's try and arrange a perspective. Every religion has multiple segments under them. May it be the Islamic who have Shia and Sunni, or may it be the Christians who go to church, some believe in Mother Mary, some believe in Jesus Christ, and the various other aspects that are available in Christianity itself. You talk about Yahudi, Judai, talk about Buddhism. Buddhism has so many other branches. You talk about Jainism. Jainism itself has 4 branches, or 3 branches, or however they prefer to calculate it. Talk about Hinduism or Hindu or Sanatan Dharma. Even Sanatan Dharma has multiple branches. Now, a lot of people say we are never one. Let me tell you one thing, we'll never be one. Had we been one, the concept of diversity would have just been destroyed. We are diverse and hence we are unique. We sometimes say that, these guys do a lot of things for their religion. We don't do anything for our religion. Islamic people are praying namaz 5 times a day during the month of Ramzan. Jains are doing atthais and all these 8 fast or many other activities during the time of Paryushan and other times of the year. Swaminarayan people heartily donate when their sadhus and the sants and the Mahatmas come, and they heartily donate stuff. I don't even want to talk about the Rama-based sampradaya or people who are followers of Ram. We all know what people have done for Rama Mandir. Despite all of these things, why we land up in a situation of being so self-centered that we don't think better of our community? what is wrong with us Hindus? Are we just interested in establishing supremacy as to who's the best? I remember this incident with Mahaprabhu Sri Vallabhacharya. Some Vaishnav came and asked, Gnan Marg Bado ke Karma Marg? Which one is bigger, Gnan Marg or Bhakti Marg? Mahaprabhu ji had a wonderful answer for this thing. जिसको जो मार्ग बड़ो लगे वो, मेरो मत से भक्ति मार्ग सबसे बड़ो. This is acceptance. જેને જે માર્ગ મોટા લાગે છે, whoever feels whichever marg is larger or bigger or better is according to their perception. We respect that perception. But for me, it's Bhakti Marg and I'm going to practice it. Well, this is the beauty that we have. It's, despite being diverse, it's about inclusiveness. Despite being different, it's about acceptance. Debates, formalities, questionnaires, fights are all secondary in nature. The essence of mankind is to experience bliss, to feel love, to live a happy life. And if in the name of caste, creed, belief, systems, we are going to fight and cause mental pressure in people's head, if we are going to dictate rules and regulations rather than creating the awareness of rules and regulations, if we are not going to have that intention of knowing things, let me help you understand this perspective. People have a habit of going to temple. Some people may feel what I'm saying is too extreme, but try this thing in a foreign country, in one of the worship centers in the UAEs, if it's possible for you. Go in a shorts, or go with a sleeveless, or go with your head not covered. Just trying doing that once. And look at the backlash that happens to you. Versus when we go to Nathadwara, Srinathji, or we go to any other temples, or maybe people go to Siddhivinayak Mandir or Mahalakshmi temple in Mumbai, or they go to Mahalakshmi temple in Danu. We now see gentlemen in shorts. Some people haven't taken a bath and they come to the temple. Some people wear sleeveless clothes and come to the temple. Now, let me tell you one thing. Even the Westerners had certain dress code for certain occasions. Certain dress code for certain occasion refers to prayer meeting, birth anniversaries, ball parties, night parties, worship days, deaths, marriages, etc., etc. We all had our own. They had their own dress code. We had our dress code as well. But now the same clothes that we wear on the bed is the same clothes that we wear to the temple without even taking the bath. We go to Nathdwara's temple, Srinathji's temple to do the worship of Lord. And then without having a bath or just by having a brush, we stand in the line of having a tea because हमने pressure एवी રીતે આવે છે, or we start eating pawa. because our hunger is too much. It's on us how we are spending our time. It's on us how we are taking efforts. And it's on us to realize that there are certain things that are appropriate at certain places. For example, as I had mentioned earlier in my examples, you go to any temples in South India. If you're not wearing a chanya choli or sari, you're not allowed in a temple of Guru Vayur or Padmanabh Swami. If you don't what do we say, adorn a dhoti or a lungi, and you don't have your first half of the body, at least for the males, empty enough in front of these gods and goddesses, you're not allowed in the temple altogether. Why is it so that only certain part of South India practices something like that, and why is it so that other part of North Indian temples have to be so casual about it? What is wrong with us? If in military, if there's a dinner, there's a certain set of occasion, there's a certain set of clothes, certain set of uniform. In while fighting, there's a certain set of uniform. While official, what do we say, ceremonies, there are certain set of uniforms. Every occasion has a different set of uniform. Why we ignore our culture, the way we live, the way we should be behaving in certain places? If we give so much emphasis on how we need to be on video calls, how our pronunciation needs to be, why is it so that when we go to temples, we behave so reckless and the way we want to behave? I mean, imagine this, a friend coming to your house without having a bath, directly going to your kitchen and having some food over there. Would you really like it? Similarly, what are we doing? What is wrong with us? Why would we do something like this? Why would we directly enter someone's kitchen like that? Or we directly enter someone's bedroom like that? Or we even go to a temple just like that? Are we so reckless? Are we so careless that we can't even stand up? We can't even wake up early. We can't even take the bath. We can't even dress up properly. Please don't mix every aspect of your life the way you want to live. It doesn't work that way. It is absolutely not that way. You need to work around your situations. You need to think it through and behave accordingly. Now, it's not about how things are, it's about how things should be. It's not always about how things are. We need to bring that change that we want. And until unless we don't get it, it's not going to work out for any of us. It's really crucial for us to work it out. Now it's on us, how are we going to develop that change? It's on us, how are we going to bring that change? It's on us, how are we going to step forward? Similar situation when it comes to people have a complaint that Pandits don't tell us the meaning of the mantras. I have a similar question. Why is it the day only of the puja when you want to realize the meaning of the mantras? And why is it so important that you get entertained on the day of a puja? Puja is puja. An entertainment show is an entertainment show. Don't expect Pandits to be stand-up comedians and do entertainment based content for you every now and then. He's not going to sing an Hanuman Chalisa every now and then with some musical instruments. The work of music is to be done by music. The work of mantra has to be done by mantras. The Pandit is supposed to do the mantra. The Pandit is not supposed to sing. And since we are known so much for doing settings, why don't you set up your Pandit one day, come to your house and learn mantras from him? Understand the meanings of the mantras. If not, understand the meaning of the puja that you're going into. That guy may not tell you all the Vedic mantras. Fair point. You can learn the Puranic mantras. You can understand what the mantras stand for. In a Ganpati Aarti, or we happily sing Twameva Mata Pita Twameva Bandhu Cha Sakha Twameva, right? But do we know the meaning of it? Though I've covered it in my sessions before, but still, what are we doing for it? What are our initiatives? What are our efforts for it? We lack infrastructure. We lack infrastructure where the right kind of message is not getting conveyed to people because people are deaf here these days. It's all about aspirations, aspirations, aspirations. so many times when the last rituals of people are not being done, there have been so many counter effects on people that they're not being able to sleep. They get hallucinations. They feel that that person is trying to talk to them. So many such situations have taken place. We come from the land of samskar. Let me tell you one thing: education can be purchased. Learnings can be purchased. You pay money, someone will teach you. But sanskar is not something that you buy in the market. It's not available as a stock price that, hey, you know what, I'm going to buy sanskar. No, it doesn't work like that. And just because your generation above you has done something wrong, is it really important for us to actually pass it down? Is it really crucial for us to take it down? Is it really that important for all of us to take those practices down for us? As we go ahead in this segment, there are so many books. Here's one of these books: The Cosmology of the Bhagavad Mahapuran. It's by Motilal Banarsi Das since 1903 in Indology. And a lot of other professors of various other countries have validated this book. It has been written by Richard L. Thompson. It talks various topics like islands and oceans of the Bhumandala. Talks about Jambu Dweep, Plakshadweep, Shlalmadweep, Kushadweep, Kraunchadweep, Shakadweep, Pushkaradweep. What are the various levels? How various mountains are there? What kind of various rivers are there? Where are these located? What is their radius? What is their thickness? How complex they are? What kind of worship they do? What kind of gods they pray? So many other things have been propounded in scriptures like these. Please stop complaining that there are not so many people in this world who can explain us religion in the way that we want to understand. It's a mere excuse. It's a mere excuse that you all have been carrying over the period of time. I remember Elon Musk saying this one particular statement. Elon Musk is trying to say, internet, you can learn anything on the internet. Basically, it's available for free. You are investing your time in listening to these video sections. It's available for free. The only commitment is required is you need to invest your time in it. It's only when you invest your time in it, you will understand that, oh, religion has all these aspects as well. Oh, these are certain things I need to take care of. Oh, that's nice. Until when will we complain about the atrocities or the things that we have faced in the past? Let me tell you one thing. Someone who has studied Mahabharata, someone who has studied Gita, will not be a foolish person to have a non-violent way of freeing the country. And if they have studied Mahabharata and Gita and after that as well they chose to be non-violent enough, that means we as a country wasted 350 years. After reading Bhagavad Gita as well, if we don't realize that we are supposed to fight for something that is of ours. And after that as well, we have to choose a path of non-violence. Sounds extremely incorrect. A lot of people may not agree with this thought, but just imagine this situation. 350 years of silence or 10 years of violence, 350 years of mental baggage or 10 years of physical human destruction. The choice is between you all. It's not just the 350 years. We have been an atrocious place for more than 600 years now. And we have got a mentality with us of accepting the way things come. We don't stand for ourselves. Look at the other countries when they stand for themselves. Look at the Americans. Look at the Chinese. Look at the way they stand for themselves. There came a stage in United States of America where they realized materialism is just overpowering us. We have the maximum iPhones, the MacBooks, the technology, the internet, the best cars in the world, the best food to eat. Let me tell you one thing. 33% of the food wastage constitutes from the United States of America itself. As much production the country does, so much destruction as well the country has. It is not even utilizing a single penny of its own natural resources in terms of oil. It is being imported from the Saudi countries itself. They invested in infrastructure, they invested in education, they invested in getting roads right. We, on the contrary, we have been focusing on corruption. I'm not saying corruption is not there, corruption is there as well, but look at the evidence of corruption. Look at the money that is being sanctioned. Look at the situations that we all are in. When we start taking charge of our own self and our own family and start believing and achieving something that is going to be better for the longer duration of time, is the point when we realize, oh, things are different. Things are different. Things have changed. There are newer things in the world. There are things that we can achieve if we go in the right direction. Recently, my friend was asking, what is your ultimate aim? I was like, for the mankind, if you ask me, I want to create a village that is one more Sanskrit speaking village and at the same time is self reliant and self preserved as well. There is enough education there, there is enough cleanliness there is enough purpose there is enough sustainability over there, and these guys are self reliant. That's one of my aims in life to achieve that. Matur is one of the finest places to learn Sanskrit because the town only speaks Sanskrit. They might be advanced in technology as well, but that's how it is. That's how the things are. Anyway, nevertheless, talking about cultural diversity that we all face and how we don't do anything about it. Here's a question that keeps on troubling me. No one wants to intensely practice religion, but everyone wants to intensely grow in life. No one wants to intensely implement all the rules and regulations, but everyone wants intense success. No one wants to know the deep philosophy and psychology or the mentality of the religion. However, they want to uplift themselves and know their self. No one wants to invest too much of their time in doing things that they don't like, and eventually they want results of the things that they like. Moving forward, a lot of times we have these questions like, why do we have so many things? Why is there a Varna Vyavastha? Why is there a Jata Karma or Namakaran that refers to the initial rites on the day of birth? And why is there a naming ceremony? Why do we have the Prapotra Darshan Vidhi, Mukha Darshan, that refers to the fourth generation? And why do they look at their faces? What is Karna Veda Sanskar? That means the Karna Veda refers to piercing of the ear. Why is there a Mundan happening? Why is there a Yagnopavit happening? When should a Vivaha take place? Why people don't marry in the same set of Vivaha? Same set of Gotra. Why all of these things takes place? For that, boss, You need to have that curiosity. You need to have that curiosity, and after that curiosity only, you need to find a guru or someone who can answer these questions of yours. And once they start answering these questions, you need not be sitting there with a sword of judgment that you will slash that particular person's throat in case if you don't agree with the statement. Your job is to have acceptance. Your job is acceptance. I'm not saying you should start following it there and there itself, but at least the person on the opposite side is a subject matter expert. Okay, you pay thousands of rupees for consultation fees for various other things. Why don't you just pay some money to uh, your own Kulapurohit or your own Brahmins around you who get your pujas done? Just sit with them, ask them. If you're Dikshit, that means you belong to a particular sampradaya, you have a guru, go to that guru, sit in his lotus feet, ask him or her. Ask them why they do what they do. It's only after these realizations that you'll understand that there's a deeper sense of what we do and why we do. There's a reason why we are indulged in certain set of activities. There's a reason why we do all of these sanskars, because that's the essence of what we stand for. That's the essence of what we Sanatan Hindu stand for. Why do we do vrata? Why do we do upvas? Why do we do ekadashis? What is Surya Grahan? What is Chandra Grahan? What are the various kinds of shastras that we need to study? Why do we follow a shaucha? Why do we implement shraddha? Why do we have to get stuck in something called as the sutak? I'm sorry. Why do we get stuck into a sutak? Why can't we do any religious activities for 10 days? Why are there periods? So many life situations have been tackled in so many of these scriptures. But some of the times these are not something that people like to openly discuss. People feel a closed door is more important for having such kind of discussions. They feel that these are not common aspects of our life. And since we feel these are not common aspects of our life, no one is talking about it. And since no one is talking about it, we don't lead that life anymore. It's like we are all in a window shopping. From this area, we like something. From that area, we like something. From this area, we like something. And that's how we proceed further. We are not even sticking to one school of thought. I'm not saying we need to be rigid, but at least in terms of practices, we cannot have a fusion of 10,000 things going around. Even if you approach multiple gods and goddesses, you need to understand the concept of Panchayatan Devata. Panchayatan Devata. That's what you need to understand. Panch Devatas. The Surya, Vishnu, Mahadev or Rudra, Ganesha, and Matruka. These are the 5 gods that are worshipped together. Whichever your god is there amongst these, which is the Pradhanya Devata, is always in the center. Like for me, I'm a Vaishnava. So in my opinion, the Vishnu Panchayatan takes place. That means the Vishnu is in the center. And as deep-rooted Vaishnavas, people who are firm believers of Krishna, they just respect gods and goddesses. They don't have to worship, they don't worship them daily. Because they believe in something called as being devoted to only one source, and that is Krishna. Because of that reason, they get stuck. They get entangled rather with one Lord. And their faith in that one Lord is so strong that they don't need anything else in this world. It's so beautiful that our scriptures keep on guiding us in one or the other way. व्यायामात् लभते स्वास्थ्यम दीर्घायुष्यम बलम सुखम आरोग्यम परमम भाग्यम स्वास्थ्यम सर्वार्थ साधनम. One gets health, strength, long life, and happiness by exercise. Good health is greatest blessing. Health is the means of everything. If you are healthy, nothing is impossible for you. नरस्य आभरणं रूपं रूपस्याभरणं गुणः गुणस्याभरणं ज्ञानं ज्ञानस्याभरणं क्षमा. Beauty is like an ornament abharan of a human being. Good qualities, that is guna, are the ornaments of beauty, the rupa. Knowledge, jnana, is an ornament of good qualities, and forgiveness, kshama, is an ornament of knowledge. Chandanam शीतलं लोके चंदनादपि चंद्रमाः चंद्र चंदनयोर्मध्ये शीतला साधु संगतः. Sandalwood is pleasant. It's cool. We are in the days of heat. When we apply chandan to Lord, we have this sensation that since it's hot, we are applying chandan to Lord for the pleasant environment, or for the pleasant feeling, or for a pleasant experience. Similarly, when we apply that chandan, we also feel a little calm and composed. Similarly, moon or moonlight is also pleasant than sandalwood. Chandanapi chandramaha. When there is a full moon, we feel extremely pleasant. However, the company of a sadhu, that's a good person, is pleasant in comparison to both moon and sandalwood. Chandra Chandana yor madhye Shitala sadhu sangatah refers to if when there's a situation, if you have Chandan and Chandra, it's the sadhu which is going to give you more pleasant experience. Pleasant experience in terms of all your problems will have a solution. All your situations will have a solution. All those sentiments and feelings that you are feeling, you will be able to feel them and let it go. While we are getting so much amount of insights about our own self, we also need to know that we'll be tested every now and then. Once we stay with a sadhu, once we get some more knowledge, we'll always face situations like Vyasane Mitra Pariksha, Shura Pariksha, Ranangane Bhavati. Vinaye Bhrutya Pariksha, Dana Parikshastra Durviksha. Friendship of a friend is tested during our bad times. The warrior's heroism is tested in a war. A servant's test lies in his good attitude towards the owner. and the donor's test is at the time of drought when there is no money. The point explained over here is that the person who donates wealth of food even at the time of drought, at the times when the food is scarce, is a real donor. If we do not live up the expectations of our own at tough times, then there is no use of what we stand for. These situations keep on happening in our life, and that's why the Subhashitkars are also saying pustakastha vidya parahastagatam dhanam karyakale samutpanne na sa vidya na tad dhanam. The knowledge which is residing in the books and one's wealth which is in the possession of some other person is of no use at all when the calamity comes, because nor that vidya nor that knowledge, neither that vidya nor that money is going to be actually of any help to you, because that's not in your possession altogether. In one of the sessions, we had learned about this dhairyam yasya pita kshamacha janani. It was such a wonderful saying. Similarly, mahajanasya sansargah kasya nonatikarkah padmapatra sthitam toyam dhatte mukta falashriyam. Company of great people is always beneficial. It's like the drop of water on lotus leaves looks like a pearl. It appears like a pearl. It gains a status similar to a pearl. Here the Subhashitkar explains us how useful it is to be with great people. A murkha person, an unwise person, hesitates to donate the wealth due to the fear of becoming poor. But due to the same fear, a wise person wisely donates his wealth. See how the same fear causes wise and unwise people to behave differently. The wise person donates his wealth thinking that in future, if he becomes poor, then he may lose the opportunity to donate. Whereas on the other side, the opposite person is feeling, if I give something, I'll be the poor one. Swabhavo nopadeshena shakyate kartumanyatha sutaptamapi paniyam punargachati shitatam. If the living of a person results in the leaving of many other persons, only then consider that person to have really lived. A slightly complicated one. Let's not take it. It will be difficult for me to explain it to you guys. All these things that we are experiencing in our life have been propounded somewhere or the other. There have been so many authors, so many thought leaders, so many people who have provided so much amount of wisdom. It's on us. How are we going to utilize it? Buddhi prabhavaha tejasya sattvamutthanameva vyavasayasya yasyati tasya vibhruti bhayam kutaha. One who has brain, someone who has chivalry, who has poise, who has power, who has enthusiasm, who has willingness to work. He or she doesn't need to worry about earning or never needs to worry about his or her own living. Because you have so many qualities. You need not worry about anything. And because these qualities also help you determine one thing. Gunairuttamatam yati This verse tells us about Kakaha Kim Karudayate. Worth of a person is not determined by his seat or his position, but by the qualities that one person carries. Just because someone sits on the top of a palace doesn't make a crow become an eagle. An eagle is an eagle because of the qualities that eagle possesses. Asthiram jivitam loke, asthire dhanayovane, asthiraha putradarascha, dharma kirti dvayam sthiram, vairagya shatakam. In this world, life is uncertain. Wealth and youthfulness does not last long. They are unstable. Even the son and wife are unstable. Dharma and fame are the only two things that last for the longest duration of time. And more than the fame, even if you do something incorrect, the fame will also go away. It's dharma, which is one major thing that lasts for the longest duration of time. When we talk about son and wife are unstable, that refers to you might have difference of opinions. But dharma is the only thing that is always going to stay constant with you over the period of time. It's like collecting flowers from the forest. There are so many things at so many places. I just recollect of one of these verses. Gunaha sarvatra pujyante pitruvamsho nirarthakaha vasudevam namasyanti vasudevam namanavaha. Gunaha sarvatra pujyante refers to your qualities will be worshipped everywhere. Your qualities is what will make you stand. Just because you're born in a big family doesn't give you the credibility. It just gives you a credibility that you are known by those family members. But you need to create your own identity. One of the major reasons why we pray Vasudeva, that's Bhagavan Shri Krishna, and not Vasudeva, who's the father of Vasudeva. माता शत्रु पिता वैरी येन बालो न पाटितः न शोभते सभा मध्ये हंस मध्ये बको यथा. Mata Shatru, Pita Vairi, Mata and Pita, both are enemies. Those who have not their child, those who have not their children. Na Shobhade Sabha Madhye, Hansa Madhye Bako Yatha. Hansa and Baka are two similar kind of animals, birds, but they don't go really well with each other. They don't look exactly the same when they are in their own set of group. A buck doesn't look really beautiful when Hans is there or the group of hounds is there. It's like you have been involved with people just for the sake of it. But you have no idea what you are and what you stand for because you have no knowledge about your own self. And you have no idea about anything else. वने रणे शत्रुजलाग्निमध्ये महर्णवे पर्वतं मस्तके वा सुप्तं प्रमत्तं विषमस्थितं वा रक्षन्ति पुण्यानि पुराकृतानि. When one is trapped in the middle of a jungle, in the war, in middle of enemies, water, flood or fire, in the ocean or in the mountains, while sleeping in unconsciousness, or in any kind of odd situation, the good deeds that one might have done in the past will protect oneself. One of the major things that I've learned is Sangachadvam Samvadadvam Samvo Manausi Janatam Deva Bhagam Yatha Purve Sajjana Upasate. Go together harmoniously, speak together, understand each other's mind. Just as God from ancient times, having known each other's minds, did the job that came to them and did it religiously, so you should also act in that particular way. There is so much literature available at one click of the internet as well that we need not worry about anything else in life. सुखमध्ये स्थितं दुःखं दुःखं दुःखामध्ये दुःखमध्ये स्थितं सुखं द्वयमन्योन्य संयुक्तं रोच्यते जलपंकवत्. There is so much reciprocity between these two situations, namely suddenly facing distress during a phase of happiness and suddenly facing happiness during a phase of distress. Both of the end results are the same. It is proclaimed that their association is just like mixing water and clay. When they mix together, it creates mud. You may feel these emotions, and the beauty about that is you are supposed to feel them the way they are. All these conversations will keep on happening in our life. We need to understand what choice do we want to make. A lot of times people say that the destiny is already prescribed. Well, in my opinion, the destiny was always prescribed. However, it's our intent that gives us a chance to rewrite that destiny, because the God or the Almighty or the Supreme Power also wants to test us and our intellect, whether we want to change ourselves or not. We all know Nainam Chindanti Shastrani, Nainam Dahati Pavaka. We already know that the soul is indestructible. But the soul definitely deserves to change the due course of its lifeline. Just because you've got a human life doesn't mean you'll only enjoy the way Charvak, Punarapi Jananam, Punarapi Mananam, Maranam. Or Runam, I'm sorry, that was Shankaracharya, or Runam Krutva Grutam Pibet. Basmi Bhutasya Dehasya. That means if you've got one life, live life king size. No, that's not the way how things have been perceived in the best possible way. It's on us as to how we want to go ahead. It's on us how do you want to proceed further. It's on us and our intention that can help us override the way we have been. Having said that, we have one more session to go. I would like to thank Prempuri Ashram and Girish Bhai Dresswala for this wonderful opportunity of addressing the crowd today. We have taken a shorter duration of session today, but nevertheless, I wanted to keep it relevant for all of you. I'm sorry if I keep on extending the topics, it's not going to be anything relevant for you. We've gone slow and steady. It's a Sunday after all. So we've made the most of that Sunday. If you have liked today's session, kindly click on the like button. Subscribe to the channel if you can. Add in the comments if you have any questions. Through this digital novice, we will be able to answer all these questions. By this, I end my session today. Shubham Bhavatu. Krishna Arpanamastu.
Om Shanti Shanti.